All right. Kyle Kemper, your host of the Miami Crypto Experience. Today I'm here with Jacob Beckley from Cure Token. How are you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Doing great.
fantastic. We are like 8 days away from the Miami Crypto Experience. There's so much energy. I can't wait to get to Miami. Can't wait to connect with all these incredible people, and I can't wait to meet you in person. We've just had a chance to kind of chat a little bit, and I feel like we're so aligned, and they just really see this opportunity. And it's going to be so great to have this convergence taking place in Miami, November 10, 11, 12, because I think there's like from crypto to NFTs to blockchain to DeFi to really like the future of commerce and like building this new earth. This is going to be a pivotal kind of moment for this. And so like, you're with a company called a Cure Token, or
Yeah.
not a company, but it's a project foundation, right? Can you,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so curious. I'd love to know more about, what is Cure Token and
Well,
what's kind of the goal?
Pure Token is it's a nonprofit or charitable token. And I didn't know it at the time when I created it, but there's been a lot of nonprofit charity tokens out there in the past, and 9 out of 10 plus have been scams. It's a lot of people taking advantage of people's heartstrings, pulling at their heartstrings, trying to manipulate, trying to just make an emotional connection and take advantage of people. And I didn't know it. But in 2016, I started a nonprofit organization, which is focused on pediatric cancer research, and have raised $1 million at doing that. And it's been remarkable. But then the pandemic hit, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh wow, I can't do any traditional fundraising. Everything I used to do was in person. We'd host like events and cocktail parties and silent auction items and raffles. And I'm like, well, we're not making anything going towards the foundation. So I was sitting down and I'm thinking, we have to pivot. And my day job is I'm in technology, I'm in innovation, I'm a product guy, and I'm like, I got to do something in crypto. I was passionate about it, during the pandemic, and I'm like, there's something there. So I went off and developed Cure Token, and Cure Token is the first ever project which is dedicated to childhood cancer. But it's grown so fast in the past 30 days, and it's been astronomical. And now it's gone so far beyond what my original vision was. And we're going and developing a brand new blockchain, which is like super exciting to even be at a stage where we can even do that. But then we're doing the normal, crypto marketing type things. We're doing the NASCAR sponsorship. That's coming up here in February. We're doing press releases and articles and mainstream media. But really, the differentiator between Cure Token and other projects is that we're foundation first, and then we went and started a project. We're not like a project and this idea that said, oh, we got to have a charitable component. Let's find something attached to it. This was kind of the inverse. So I think it was pretty revolutionary. And the way we were able to fundraise was revolutionary in itself as well.
And so like you said, this wasn't you're looking around like, what's the big opportunity for me to kind of hit on right now? It's like, no, it wasn't like, building, Cure Token, I'm going to build this. Like, it was more of, this is something I've been living and breathing for a very long time and really being deeply understanding of, and then recognizing, wow, this technology can really do something. And then boom, you got into it, and like, blew up, and so many opportunities like that come out of it. And like, I'm, as you said, like you went in with like, this is the focus, but like many projects, it kind of shifts when you kind of understand and get feedback from the community. So tell me, how's it growing? Like, how you say it's been really picking up. What's it been like for the last 30 days?
The last 30 days, well, the project's 44 days old. In the last 30 days, we've gone up 9,000%.
Wow.
Put that in perspective. I mean, it's crazy.
Like the price of it, the token.
The token started at 0.00030 zeros and a 1, and now we're hovering at 10 cents.
All right, and how does the token work? What what happens with the token?
Okay, so the best part about it is that there's a 3% transaction fee. So whenever somebody buys or sells, there's other transaction fees, but 3% of that goes directly to a custodial wallet for the foundation. And so it's like a transaction fee-based charity model. And then there's obviously some marketing, because marketing has to scale to bring more people in. But it's done through a transaction fee. And so far we've raised over, I think, $250,000 in 30 days for the foundation, which would have historically taken me over a year to do.
Incredible. And then the foundation, what does the foundation do with those funds?
So we fund research, but in the crypto space, everyone wants to see the glamorous things. They want to see you doing charity drops to families and stuff like that. So we've changed our mission a little bit. We haven't lost our root of supporting research, pediatric cancer research specifically, but we've been now supporting families worldwide, and finding out who has children with pediatric cancer, how we can support them. We pay their rent, their mortgage, the car payments.
Because I mean, how many children out there are suffering with cancer these days? Like
one out of 300 worldwide.
1 out of 300. My
300, yeah.
Goodness,
it's a big problem.
So then there's a lot of that is a terrifyingly high number, and I feel like that number has probably that number is getting worse over time as we go forward in this kind of toxic environment society that we're living in. So I'm sure that's one of the things that you're addressing as well as part of like, the cure of this.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, it is getting worse, but at the same time, research is getting better, and treatments are getting better. So it's kind of plateaued, which is a great thing. There's more people getting it, but there's more people who are living from it. There's more ways that it's treatable. I strongly believe that it's curable. Strongly believe it. And that's why I focus on pediatric cancer, because I think breakthroughs on the worst form of pediatric cancer is going to have cascading effects through all adulthood cancers and everything else. Plus, there's little known fact that everyone has susceptibility for cancer. Everyone has it, and it's the triggers throughout their life that activates it.
Right. It's like if you dig deep enough into someone, you can find cancer. Everybody has cancer. Yeah. Everybody. So I'm sorry to tell you, whoever's watching this, but you have cancer.
It's a reality. Yeah.
But it's okay. It's a reality. We all have it. The question is like, how do we maintain and have healthy vessels, bodies, to be able to, defeat or not defeat, because even there's a lot of battle analogies within which I don't think is necessarily also helpful as well, because I feel like there's psychological issues as well as like, when you're told that this is a battle to fight for, you're gonna fight, it's gonna be the fight of your life.
Yeah, or kids fighting. Yeah.
Kids fighting, when it's like, really, let's be focused on healthy and good nutrition and strengthening immune systems and all the benefits that we can do towards that. So this is a project that's aiming to help facilitate healing and curing. And the token itself, like what else drives utility for the token other than the 3% going back to the foundation?
Well, that's the next phase of this. As I said, my passion has been towards funding research. Now we're going to be paving the way for research. So that's, flip that on its head a second. We were in the back seat, just sort of facilitating and helping and funding and not quite understanding what was going on. But through the power of blockchain and NFT, we're going to create that highway that's going to create that cure. And this is a very revolutionary concept. So the idea is, and this has evolved. I mean, believe me, I started this as
it's evolving.
It's evolving. It's going to continue to evolve.
It is full of negative entropy. It's incredible.
But the idea of the power of the blockchain combined with NFT is going to revolutionize healthcare. And so there's been two movements that have been formed from just my little thing of starting up a little thing for my pediatric cancer research, foundation. But now there's a movement that's being started, and the movement is about decentralizing healthcare. That's one aspect of it, and saying, healthcare is flawed. No matter where you live in the world, it has flaws. It has systematic flaws, especially in the U.S. And the idea is to decentralize it, and cure can be the currency for decentralization of healthcare. So that's one concept I can talk a bit about, but I'm really passionate much more about the research highway. And this is the NFT side of things. And, couple things here. There's so many, I work in innovation. So my mind is always racing and it's always trying to connect dots and always trying to hear something and it sits in the back of my head. And then one day it just connects with something else and it builds something new. And there's so many things that came together all at the same time to build this new concept. And, some quick examples. There's in research, cancer research, every time a researcher does research on cancer, they're using the exact same cell as their control, as their base. Okay, so it's a control. Every research institute in the world buys cancer cells from one place, they make them and they send them out. And that's made from a woman that died in the 60s of ovarian cancer. And her family sued the people who were selling it. And that was the story in the back of my head that stuck with me. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. There's this one controlled, the woman dies, they exploit her cells, and then the family sues and gets royalties. I work in NFTs today. Benefit of NFTs is royalties. The fact that you can have a residual income coming out of an NFT after that gets sold once, twice, 3 times, or 10 times. And I'm
and transparency and as well
transparency.
efficacy as well, because I mean, like, that could be a root cause of larger, greater issues that are not being kind of understood or addressed as well.
So it was just the combination of those two ideas, plus the blockchain, plus the power of dynamic NFTs, which NFTs, everybody thinks NFT today, they think visual, they think 3D, they think movies, they think sports, entertainment. And power of NFTs is in the future. Power of NFTs is in the data. And by combining all of these together, what the concept became is it's a data powered, like opt-in. People would opt in their medical information for rare disease, cancer, just lifestyle. And the more information they provided agnostically, not tied to them personally, they would have basic information tied to it. You would have an organic NFT dynamic growing over the lifespan of an individual, and that data is worth so much money to researchers, so much money to scientists. Take the example of the pandemic, for example. All right, so we were sitting down in the pandemic, and all of a sudden, every researcher in the world was working on the pandemic, and we were successful in coming out with that vaccine because they worked shoulder to shoulder. They were competing toward the same goal. They had access to the same information. And it was like people were united for a common good, whether that was financial, they wanted to be there first or whatever. We got there. We got there in 3 months. My point is that by enabling researchers to do that, again, enabling them to work together and stop working in these pockets all over the world and getting access to data and monetizing that data. They pay a lot for it. Give it back to the people who give you the data. It's almost like medical focus groups or case studies or all these other types of things. But also researchers don't necessarily share their information. A lot of them don't. They put out a medical journal result and they give you the case study and the findings, but they don't give you the access to the data. This is a mechanism to share that data, have it consumer community informed data coming into it, and then having the researchers sort of leverage it, work towards a common goal. And I think by building that highway, the research highway, it's going to enable so much further progress. We're going to get there farther and faster just because of the sheer amounts of data they're going to have access to.
Right. And I think, and if you can help set up the right foundations, and also understanding that through the power of decentralization and open data, that, we can just build this new system that makes the existing one obsolete, because this existing one, make no mistake, it is highly centralized, it is highly controlled, it is profit motivated. It is not like, they do not want to cure cancer. They want to treat cancer.
Exactly.
They want to treat cancer, and they want to continue cancer so they can continue to treat it. They don't give a shit about cures. Now, Cure Token, we can actually start thinking about, regenerative, healthy new earth system design, and thinking, let's cure this, because it's not about the BlackRock or Vanguard profit line that they're going to be distributing to their shareholders. That's not winning. That's not success. Healthy, prosperous, intelligent, abundant human beings working together can create so much value and can create such a wonderful world for us to be. But we must operate on these conditions. That's what we're seeking. And I truly believe that with decentralized tech, we have that opportunity now. And with things like Cure Token, and this new modality around it, using NFTs, there's just so much. There's so much there, and as well, I'm a big fan of identifying ideal outcomes. I think X Prize did something really great. They put out big prizes for all these different things, and I like, in a decentralized manner, being able to put forth bounties towards cures. So maybe Cure Token isn't necessarily going to be just about curing cancer. Maybe it's about curing the whole gamut of all these little things.
It is. That is the future. The future of this is we are developing our own blockchain, and we're calling it the Cure Chain, and it's Cure umbrella. But the idea here is that we're focusing on pediatric cancer first, because that's what I care about. But we're quickly expanding beyond that into other catastrophic diseases, and then eventually adulthood. And this is going to be the cure for all ailments. people sometimes shame me and they say, oh, you shouldn't talk so far in the future. But I really believe that we're going to change the world with this because it's decentralized. It's from the grassroots, ground effort. We're leveraging decentralized technology. We're going to be the ones that change this thing. It's not going to be pharma. It's not going to be big healthcare. Like you said, they're only out at to treat. They're not there to cure. They want to make their money. They want to charge you $500,000.
And they move slow too. And they move slow and they like, use their mega resources to create barriers to innovation. Exactly. And as innovators, we move faster than they do and we build things. And like ultimately, once we, have the voice of the people collectively participating, no lawmaker will ever be able to say, I support locking out free research into taboo topics because there's too much financial interest at stake here.
It's not going to happen. So you can see the vision of Cure. I mean, Cure is going to be, it's a movement. I mean, it started as a little project and it's become a movement, and people believe in the future of this. And it's going to come to life.
And the community like it too, right? And the community, they're going to be when I was listening. So one of the things we're launching is Tim Draper's story file at the event. So Tim did 107 questions of recording all of his knowledge. And one of the, I've had a chance to review a lot of it. And one of the things he said, in it was, what was it? I just lost my train of thought. Yes, it was something about, anyways, it's incredible. But this idea of just saying like yes to things, like, saying yes, like when there's opportunities come up, jump on board. Yes. Oh, now I remember. It was, what's a key to success for marketing? Like, what does marketing look like? Marketing, a win for a play from a marketing perspective is when your community becomes relentless rabid ambassadors for you. When they want to tell everybody, when they want to scream from the roofs, everybody, you must know about this. And I feel like, what you've experienced, what I'm feeling from you is that you're experiencing that resonance factor of it. And, while it's early days, traction's picking up. And now it's like, how do we just exponentially grow this? So I am super thrilled that you're going to be in Miami, coming together with some of your team members and the greater community, because there's all sorts of overlap on this. Like today, we just announced Seeds.Earth as a sponsor, and they're building regenerative DAO ecosystems and beautiful things. And the overlap for technology is left, right, and center. And, and at the end of the day, it feels like this Cure token as well. It's a token that, by engaging in commerce with it, say it's a BSC token.
It is, yeah.
It's a BSC token, so it doesn't suffer from the huge ERC20 fees to be able to move around from user to user. Yeah. So it can actually be it can be utilized in a transactional nature just as a base, and knowing that there's a 3% basically there's a 3% tax on it, going towards the foundation, towards supporting the ecosystem. Are there any other, in addition to the 3%, are there more percents?
Yeah. There's other fees, but usually they're community benefiting. So we have reflections built in. We have a buyback. We have what's the other one? Let me see. Auto LP. So we grow our LP, and then we have a small percentage going to marketing, so we can bring more people in and advocate for it. That's what you mentioned though about community. One of the best things about what I've found, I'm in a space where people just want to make money. So it's competing against foundations, competing against being good and charity, that whole aspect. And yet when people find Cure Token, they come in to invest because they want to make money, but they stay because of what we stand for and what we're doing. And they become those evangelists. They become those megaphones. So I know that we're just going to be astronomically larger.
Oh yeah. And it's like, and when you bake it in, when you have the right formula as well, and if you can facilitate value creation and wealth generation while at the same time supporting this amazing cause, that's a win-win for everybody. So I think that is just going to be really strong. And from what else you just said there too, there's a reflection, there's auto LP, there's a buyback. So you're basically, it's not like you listed a BSC token as soon as that came out. We've had a chance to look and understand what worked, what didn't, what are some of the best models. It's pretty advanced right now. So this is This is a very sophisticated BSC token with a purpose, and and you can buy it like by just going to the website right now, right?
Yep, and we're going to be listed on exchange shortly, so it'll be much easier to buy. But right now, you still got to go through the difficult channels of BSC space, but that won't be for long.
Well, I know that one of our sponsors is Mandela Exchange, and they're also a Binance Smart Cloud. So, and BSC is the Binance Smart Chain. So, I don't know. Maybe there's serendipity and can come with alignment there, and again, more access to others. But otherwise, it's trading on PancakeSwap.
It is, yep.
So it's available. You don't actually need an exchange, and at the end of the day, these decentralized exchanges and swaps are going to, once they become, well, I mean, they're accessible, but as they become more and more accessible, and the tools get easier to use for everybody to get on board, and as the pot of people, as the general market just keeps growing, and the understanding about how to operate within it, like it'll just grow and grow and grow and grow. So we're at the very early stages here of something that's big. It's already demonstrating traction, and and it's got a purpose behind it too, and it's got NFTs on it, and it's got, I feel like it's got a DeFi element into it as well. So you're checking all the boxes, and it's got the health tech component as well.
Yeah, and there's the gap as well. There's not a lot of not a lot of great crypto projects that are focused on data science and research and healthcare. I mean, there's some, but there's just not a lot. And I think that there needs to be something in that space that's strong, and I think we have everything in place to get to that point, and I don't think it's going to be that far away.
And just watch too, one with like strength and growth and community, a bunch of the other projects that are out there will start getting drawn in magnetically to the project, and it'll just get stronger and stronger. And then and that's a great thing about as it increases, the foundation will have more money for disbursements, for grants, for bounties towards like stimulating community growth. I love it. I think I'm really, really stoked for you, and like just as an individual, thank you for what you're doing here. Deepest gratitude and love, because this is necessary and difficult work.
Yeah, it is.
Like you're taking in stride.
Unfortunately, it is necessary evil. It's not something that people choose, and you just have to. You get dealt a bad deck of cards or whatever, bad hand, and you have to deal with it. But we're going to make a difference there. I know we are.
Yeah, and it seems like this isn't a project that stands to be kind of coerced or co-opted by like the pharmaceutical agents and industry. So if this helps shine more light onto the fact that pediatric cancer is 100% curable, like 100%, like it's just, but probably not the way that they want to sell it to you.
The way they're exactly right. Not the way they're going to solve it, not in the time frame that we want it solved. So it's,
if you
we're on the right track.
Gigantic dose of chemotherapy, and then anyways.
Yeah, they give the exact same dosage. People don't know this, but they give the exact same dosage, same treatment schedules for kids as they do for adults. So they give adult size chemo to kids, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And there's a lot of better ways of treating it today, but I believe that there's better ways to even cure it.
Well, and there's a lot of environmental factors that go into it. It's like, are you growing up as a child like next to a Tetra tower? like how much EMF is, like what's in your diet, what's your sugars, how much of your food comes from seeds versus the feed, like there's how much sunlight are you getting.
Environmental is a big aspect, very big. And usually when kids get cancer, it's environmental to obviously the mother, so it just carries through. But seriously, the cancers that kids get are aggressive, and a lot of times they don't live from it. And that's why focusing on kids is going to have such a cascading effect. We're going to learn so much. It's going to be, the environmental, like you're talking about it, but it's behavioral too. It's, lifestyle. So there's all these other things that can influence.
And there can also be genetic as well. And like, there's any number. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, but no, neither am I.
But
No,
we also recognize, for anybody who says that you're not a doctor, recognize that we are living in the year 2021, and we have more access to information than we've ever held before. And a critically thinking mind that's able to disseminate the difference between, like, subjective research and objective research, primary evidence versus secondary evidence, you can make very qualified decisions and understand and come to certain viewpoints on the world without having a 3-letter degree at the end of your name. Also recognize that our friends, the pharmaceutical lobby and the pharmaceutical industry, spend an awful lot of money into those 3-letter additions to one's name. And by going through that process of becoming an MD doctor, you submit yourself to an insane amount of debt that must be paid off, and you basically can never change your like life path if you're on that path. So it's like, it's a form of kind of slavery in a sense. And at the end of the day, all doctors are said to swear to the Hippocratic oath, to do no harm to the patients. And I think that is more important than ever that we have this reflection as well on the Hippocratic oath, and serving our patients and serving humanity to the utmost of our ability to seek cures as opposed to treatments. And if Jacob and Cure Token team and the community, combined with open, decentralized ethos, can help realize this, we are on the precipice of something truly wonderful, and I feel like it's coming.
It's absolutely coming, yeah, in our lifetimes.
So, to Miami. You will be at Miami. You'll have the booth. What are you hoping to get out of Miami?
Well, I'm hoping a couple of things. I'm hoping to network, and meet, like-minded individuals. And I said I'm in innovations. I want to be exposed to as much as possible, whether that's through conversation or visual, and absorb it. Because I know that by combining all of this, the idea is going to evolve, and it's going to get stronger and iterate. And that's what I'm hoping, is just to see some really breakthrough ideas and meet some people on the cutting edge of their industries and just absorb as much as possible.
Are you looking to have a good time?
Well, I think that's obvious. It's Miami. It's gonna be great. So I wish I could be there longer. I'm only in for a day and a half, but I'm gonna have a great time.
Well, we're gonna make the most of every moment of it, and yeah, I think it'll definitely be a collision factory for wonderful people coming together, and really looking forward to having you there, Jacob, and having Cure Token there, and yeah, just helping grow this community and letting more people know that cure is possible. And here's one approach to it that we can all get behind. And by going and grabbing a couple of Cure tokens as well, it's like it's a way to tacitly support the project. Might go up in value, or might just help support things. So know that no matter what, like, this is a great thing about this. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but when you lay the foundation for success and you've got a dynamic strategy, and you have a knowledge behind it, like, and a willingness and desire to execute, and are executing, it's going to be a success.
Yeah, it will be. It's the foundation. You need to have a good foundation, good strategy, like you're saying, all of those things. And we have the ability, because of our type of project, we can tap outside of the crypto community, and we are. Most of our holders are outside of the crypto community, and we're educating people, and that's going to be the differentiator for us, is that we're hitting the mainstream. We're hitting the national news and international news with this, and that's just going to bring so much more exposure to crypto.
Yeah.
Too much,
and it's just and it's a sign of the timing too. Like 3 years ago was still too early. It was still on the outside, but now it's not anymore. It's mainstream, and people are active, and people are looking, and like, okay, like ready to move on things, and explore, and like it doesn't have the same like kind of like guarded approach. Like, people are we've all had the impressions. Yeah, it's
not that anymore. There's actual purposeful utilities, and we're going to see a lot of this, I'm sure, at the expo, but purposeful utilities all over the place.
Indeed. And there's still, I mean, there's still a little bit of a learning curve, like in terms of the tools, in order to do
Mhm.
everything. But again, that's just gonna get better too. And
And those
that's
are
all
evolving. Those are getting better
they
as
sure are.
year.
They sure are.
It's going
And
to only get better. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Super excited.
ditto. All right. Well, Jacob, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you next week. This is going to be fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing and for all that you're doing. Um, CureToken.com,
Yeah, .net or .com, either one. So,
CureToken.net, CureToken.com, across all social medias as well. Follow, available on PancakeSwap. And yeah, if you're interested in meeting Jacob and learning more about Cure Token, him and his team will be there. So we'll see you in Miami.
awesome. All right. Take care. Thanks for having me
All
on.
right. Bye for now.